Several high-profile court cases involving abuse of children have put the state's mandatory reporter law under the microscope.
The law requires doctors, teachers, and counselors to report any sign of suspected abuse to the Department of Human Services and police. But TV9's chief investigative reporter Josh Scheinblum found not everyone is subjected to the same rules.
Beth and Bruce, the homeschool loophole got a lot of attention recently with the case of Natalie Finn. She's the 16-year-old girl whose parents, according to police, starved her to death. Finn was homeschooled, so teachers and other mandatory reporters never had a chance to spot the abuse early and possibly save her life. That's just one issue we found in Iowa's mandatory reporter law. But even the people who train mandatory reporters admit the law is flawed.
There are some gaps and some problems.
On the phone is Diana Nichols-Blummy. For more than 30 years, she's been instructing training sessions to mandatory reporters, telling them what their responsibilities are under the law if they suspect a child is being abused.
The teachers that I have talked to about it say that why report? That it really never goes anywhere.
The law Nichols-Blummy believes is far from perfect. For one, there are different rules for teachers. What is required of a mandatory reporter who's a teacher who suspects that a child is being abused?
The teachers have a separate system for it where they report internally. And they have investigators that investigate it internally and make decisions rather than sending it on to the Department of Human Services.
That's in addition to what she calls loopholes. I-9 found several areas that raise questions as to whether or not Iowa's mandatory reporting laws will always work as intended. Take a look at this document from the Iowa Department of Education that lays out the procedures for reporting child abuse. It shows if a teacher sexually abuses a student over the age of 12, teachers are not required to report what happened to DHS or the police. And then there's this. If a teacher resigns as soon as an investigation starts, the investigation ends with no report being filed to anyone. We brought our findings to state lawmakers on both sides of the aisle.
Well, I got to say, until you pointed that out to me, I wasn't aware of that.
Democratic Representative Art Stade says he thinks Iowa lawmakers need to take another look at mandatory reporter law immediately.
But we got to make the law clear for them, and we've got to educate them and let them know what they need to do.
It's our job to look into that.
Republican Representative Ashley Hinson isn't sure if the law needs changing, but does say it should be reviewed.
Having the nudge is a good start, and I think that gives us some stuff to work with and go forward, and then maybe once we have some legislative recommendations, then we can actually do what needs to be done to make sure that these mandatory reporters are reporting.
Failure to report is a simple misdemeanor that carries with it a maximum $625 fine and 30 days in jail. Both Stade and Hinson told me that alone deserves a closer look. I spoke again today with Representative Stade. He tells me he's already drafting a bill that, in his words, will make mandatory reporting laws more consistent and make sure kids are protected. Beth and Bruce?